Alright guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Steve.
We know who you are.
Your name is on the box.
And I decided about a year and a half ago I was going to design a C8 Corvette roof scoop. Where that idea came from was all supercars have a roof scoop. And if you don't think the C8 is a supercar, well, I'm sorry to say you're wrong. It's mid-engine, it's light, it's fast. 0 to 60 outperforms a lot of supercars. Anyway, my friend Doug had picked up a McLaren 765 LT and went for ripping it, and the roof scoop was just, it was everything for me. Now the McLaren 765 is nearly $1 million Canadian car, depending on the spec, but this one in particular. So I thought C8 needs to have a roof scoop, and I'm going to be the guy that makes it happen. So originally we had, this is going back about a year and a half ago, we had come up with the roof scoop idea, and we 3D printed a couple, had one we liked. I say we, I mean my friend Kevin and I. That's a lie. It was my idea, Kevin printed it, because he is much smarter and better looking than I am. So Kevin prints the roof scoop, things are good. I put it on my car, make sure it performs okay, things are good, but it's a plastic roof scoop and I'm just not sold on it. So there's a local guy named Cade, and Cade is the carbon fiber wizard of Saskatoon. I'm gonna put a link to his Instagram right here. Cade built an entire Mark IV Supra. It is the most beautiful work of art you've ever seen. I knew Cade was the guy for the job instantly. I just had to con him into building this for me. So I came up with the idea, approached Cade. He was more than open to build a roof scoop for the C8 Corvette. So we printed off some molds for him, gave them to him. He wasn't instantly sold on the molds, so he ended up building his own mold. And as you can see, he built the roof scoop from carbon fiber out of 2 pieces, which he then put together. Things were good, I picked it up, I was pumped. It was about this time last year when I picked it up. No, that's a lie. It was spring last year when I picked it up. Things were good. We put it in the car, I drove it for a couple days, made sure everything was okay. We were driving to Edmonton, and my buddy Jamie was driving, and for some reason we were on this racetrack and Jamie was doing about 180 kilometers an hour and the roof scoop exploded. Jamie, I'd like to point out that you found the limiting factors of the roof scoop, and
She gone.
yeah, well
At least it just pulls off.
yes, that's why I didn't drill holes. I didn't know how good it was on there yet.
Double-sided tape.
Yeah, but it's split in half. Yeah, it's split in half. So there's that. He's gone. We were driving and all of a sudden I was just on the roof. I thought it was a bird.
I don't want to pull that fucking thing off.
What's that?
I don't want to pull this.
Cover off. I think it's just, that's snapped in there, so need something to work at it. Oh, it's on there pretty good. Well, we'll have to rebuild that, boys.
180? No good for the roof scoop.
No good. I was confused at first, but I realized after why. Is you have this opening, this air ramming in there at 180 kilometers an hour, and you're essentially building a bomb. There's just nowhere for this air to go, so it's just gonna explode. And what was cool is my friend Don and I were following, and we watched this piece of the roof scoop fly 50 to 75 feet in the air. It was double the height of any of the power lines around us. It was so high. Anyway, pulled over, and we ended up, I just put it on the back burner. I ended up sick with some heart problems, and after that, I figured it was time to get back on the roof scoop mission. So back to the 3D printing, I got Kevin to print a couple more. At this point though, I'm thinking we need to do something different because I had sold a few of these and I sold one to a guy named Scott. Now I don't remember what state Scott lives in, but Scott, when you see this, hit me up. Scott lived in a hot state somewhere south. And the roof scoop actually melted on him. With the roof scoop melting, and I actually wasn't aware of this at the time yet, the roof scoop melting and caved in on itself. I just was not healthy enough to make anything else for him, and we kind of left it at that at the time. And I got thinking, because I had an abundance of time, how do I build one of these out of fiberglass? In the past, I've done a lot of stereo custom installs with fiberglass sub-enclosures. How do I build a roof scoop without making it weigh 1,000,000 pounds? So, if you haven't watched the video yet, no you haven't, because the video comes out after this one, but I'm gonna put the link in the description if you're watching this. And I built a mold using a 3D printed one. I changed the design of the roof scoop a little bit, and I decided to make a carbon fiber roof scoop, because at this point I've been working with carbon fiber quite a bit, and I felt confident and comfortable I could rebuild this. So this was the first carbon fiber, which is dirty. I don't have a rag around here. First carbon fiber roof scoop, and I'm going to upload the video of how I built this, but I changed a few things. So this is an original 3D printed one, and you can tell we just made it from scrap material just for this video. But it was cool, you know, it worked good in cooler areas, like I'm in central Canada, it worked great. I sold one to a guy in North Dakota, or was it South Dakota? It was one of the Dakotas. Sold another one in Colorado, and they all worked great. But it was when we shipped one to Scott that Scott's melted. And I kind of put it on the back burner. I felt really bad, I didn't know what to do. I was at a loss. So this was the original one, and you can see what we did was we would two-sided tape it on, and it would sit over top of the camera. So you do lose your rear view camera, not your backup camera, your rear view camera. And if you have a 1L, you probably don't have the rear view camera anyways. So this would sit on top of there, life's good. Along comes the carbon fiber one. This one happens to be made from 2x2 twill. And what I changed on the bottom was, this is the actual OE piece. So what I did was I molded it all as one. And again, you'll see that on the construction video coming soon. And this thing doesn't weigh anything. It's actually lighter than the 3D printed one, and it's stronger. That's pretty cool. And then what I thought was, what we need to do is I took this piece off of the OE roof scoop and 3D printed them. They're actually black. I just did this one in green for the video. And the body panel, just a bit on there, just like that. And then you have yourself a roof scoop. But there's still one problem. All of the air going in here is literally, again, creating a bomb. All that air rushing in here, and then it wants to split down the side here. So that's no good. Then I got a little more creative. It happens to be made from standard carbon fiber, not 2x2 twill. And there we have the bracket installed on the bottom, but I actually put a hole in it. And then you can punch a hole into your car like this guy did. It makes it function. Now you have all this positive air going into your engine bay and coming out as negative air on the back side. And in turn, you're getting great cooling, air cooling on your engine. These are the clips off of your OE camera cover. You're gonna take them out. You're gonna feel like these are gonna break when you take them out. They're so incredibly tight. Tight. But they do come out. You're just gonna take them. You're gonna go in there, and then you're gonna use something to push it in because it has a sharp little edge on it that hurts your finger. And these are gonna snap right back into your OE spot. Now I don't have a C8 Corvette to show you guys. I did, I don't anymore. However, my friend Don is as crazy as I am and is winter driving a C8 Corvette. So we're gonna give this to Don. He's gonna do some R&D on it and make sure it's okay. I did airbrush the sides here. And what that does is hides the line of where the transition is between the two pieces. Now this one's not perfect. It does have some imperfections on it. I do have a better one in the garage. But then I got thinking again, because that seems to be what I do all the time, is I'm thinking how to make things better. This is already very solid, very strong. It's hard as a rock. There is 6 layers of carbon fiber here, and it's still that thin. Super cool. And you know what's funny? This with the bracket is still lighter than the 3D printed one that doesn't have anything on it. It's wild. But anyway, this is solid. So I went from here to thinking, what if somebody has a purple car and they don't want to do carbon fiber? Some people don't like carbon fiber. What could a guy do? Let's make a fiberglass one. So I built another mold. And out of the mold came this. Now this is quite heavy compared to the fiberglass. It's the same thickness, solid. This one's not done. This one's only sanded in 400 grit. Now, this is cool because you can wrap it. However, my friend Don says, if it's not as smooth as his ass, we can't wrap it. Well, Don, I don't know how smooth your ass is. It's going to be polished and should be as smooth as your ass, I hope. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll give it a feel next time I see it. But anyway, this is the fiberglass one. Should anybody want a cheap one that they can just wrap, there you go. So with all this said, I will no longer be selling the 3D printed ones because it just does not make sense. If they seem to go too far south, they melt. The cool thing about the fiberglass one is I don't believe you have to make it functional. We do have to do some R&D. I'll be giving this to Dawn to be doing some R&D, but I don't think we need to make it functional. The reason is on the carbon fiber one, because of the carbon fiber weave, where the transition is, you can't wrap carbon fiber around there. It's not going to work. However, with the fiberglass, I've wrapped from the center to the center on both sides, and there is body panel adhesive in there as well that you can see on the inside. And then I've also added, well, you can actually see the adhesive there, but I've also added, this is gel coat on here. This thing is as tough as nails. This is definitely a good way to go. Now keep in mind with the roof scoops, you also can't open your hatch all the way. You know, it sits like that. You can get your hatch open about 75% of the way, enough to do any work you need to. But that should be it. Should you guys wonder how to install these, or if you're watching this video wondering how to install them, I'm going to give those to my friend Dawn, who is the Greek god of installation videos. Dawn is going to make an install video on how to install them. He's going to do some R&D because he is an absolute beauty of a guy. So we're going to give them to him and he's going to do it. You guys drop me a comment. I want to know what you think. Should it be bigger, taller, fatter, wider, girthier? I don't know. I'm curious. I'm looking for some feedback. We can always make some changes. If you guys are interested, fire me an email. It's just my first and last name at gmail.com. I'm also, if you want to buy one, I'm going to put them on my Shopify store. The reason for Shopify is it just keeps everything simple. I don't want to just like start emailing and sending them to people. Scott, if you happen to be watching this, make sure you email me. I want to send you that fiberglass one to make up for the one that melted, because you shouldn't be paying for a product that doesn't work. That's my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing. We're going to do some more C8 stuff. I do have some more stuff coming, even though I don't own one right now. Hopefully in the future again, just not right now. Maybe a C8 Z06, we could build some cool carbon fiber stuff for that. Next video up will be the manufacturing of the roof scoop. I'm going to put it right there as well, and you guys can watch that. Thanks for watching.